how to open this. Use your middle finger, bring it down, middle finger inside the hook, pull up. All right? No. Not yet. Come over here. ID light, turn the signal. They're not working. Then cracked broken, there's no special screws, they're amber in color. Headlights, they're not. They're cracked broken, there's no special screws, they are clear in color, but I see what condensation indicates. On your truck, I see no oil, coolant, or power steering wheel. When you go over here, you unlatch it, you gently raise the hood. Ready? Then you gently raise the hood. My exhaust. That bank cracked broken with screws. And if you're using U-bolts or clamps, and I see no slip, that would indicate loose. I see no slip that would indicate a leak. Follow this around to the front of my doors. You always start from the top. All my hoses are not cut, cracked, dry rotted, or frayed or bulging. I see and hear no leaks. Just talking about all your hoses.
Right.
My alternator's down there. Alternator's not bent, cracked, broken, there's no full screws. Belt driven. Alternator wires are not cut, cracked, dry rotted, or frayed. I see no burnt or exposed way. Alternator belt, cut, cracked, dry rotted, or frayed, and I should be able to pull it no more than. Alright, are we good so far?
Yep.
Coolant. Now, bent, cracked, broken with enough screws has a sight glass, and that'll tell you if it's full or not. If it did not have a sight glass, I would turn the truck off, take the cap off, put my finger in it. Once it cools down, to make sure it's full. If it's not, I would add it to the cap, and then put the cap back on. My dipstick and fill tube. Bent, cracked, or broken, there's no supposed to screws. I would take my dipstick out, wipe it off, put it in, take it out, and make sure it's full. If it wasn't, I would add oil in my oil filter. My air chamber, no, I'm sorry. My air compressor, now bent, cracked, or broken, there's no supposed to screws. It is gear driven, and I hear no leaks. My water pump. Now, bent, cracked, or broken, there's enough supposed to screws. It is belt driven, and I see no leaks. My power steering reservoir. Now, bent, cracked, or broken, there's enough supposed to screws. The sight glass, you know if it's full or not. If I need to add it, I would add it to the test. Power steering hose is not cut, cracked, dry rotted, or frayed or bulging. I see no leaks. Power steering pump. Got bent, cracked, or broken. There's no supposed to screws. It is gear driven, and I see no leaks. All right, are we good? All right, good. My steering rod, steering box, hitman arm, drag link, and steering knuckle are not bent, cracked, or broken. There's enough supposed to screws, and I see no leaks in my
steering box.
Castle nuts, there and there, and cotter pins are not bent, cracked, or broken, properly secured and lubricated. The U-joints or U-bolts are not bent, cracked, or broken with no screws, properly lubricated and secured. We always do suspension, brakes, tires. My spring mounts and U-bolts, not bent, cracked, or broken, missing enough supposed to screws. My leaf springs, not bent, cracked, or broken, it's not supposed to screws, properly aligned, they're missing more than a quarter of the leaf spring, I would put the tractor out of service. My shock absorber, bent, cracked, or broken, there's noticeable screws, I see no leaks. My brakes are always the same. 5 parts. Brake hose, not cut, cracked, dry rotted, or bulging, and I hear no leaks. Brake chamber and locking ring, that bent, cracked, or broken, there's noticeable screws, and I hear no leaks. Slack adjuster, push rod, cotter pin. Bent, cracked, or broken, there's no force screws. With brakes released, sit at a 90-degree angle, and you should be able to pull it no more than 1 inch. Brake lining, no excessive wear, no oil and grease. Brake drum, no oil and grease, and there's no holes or welds other than factory. Your brake system there, and there are all the same. No difference. So basically what I'm saying, keep it simple. Tires. We always do suspension, brakes, tires.
Yeah.
Tires. It's even tread, no less than 4/32 tread wear. Side of my tires is not cut, cracked, dry rotted, or bulging, and I see and hear no leaks. If you see a bulge, you know it's going to poop. Kind of like a big thumper. Yeah. And it'll be messy. My rims, bent, cracked, or broken. There's no supposed to screws. And there's no holes or welds other than factory. Lug nuts and studs. Bent, cracked, or broken. There's no supposed to screws. I see no
Rust.
That would indicate loose or missing lug nut or stud. A oil seal. Bent, cracked, or broken. There's no supposed to screws. I would take the cap off, put my little pinky in, make sure it's full. Then put the cap back on. But you're not going to do it, you're just going to say that you do it. All right, and I see no leaks. My door handle and my door hinges. Bent, cracked, or broken. There's no supposed to screws, and they're working properly. My seals are not cut, cracked, dry rotted, or frayed, and they're intact. Put the key in at D and B. Put one notch. The windows are not chipped, cracked, or broken. Missing no screws, and they're clean, and they are working properly. All right. Key out, key back. What we got? All my window brackets are not bent, cracked, or broken. There's no screws. All my mirrors are not chipped, cracked, or broken, and they're clean and clear. All right. Send them a storage box here. A storage box contains 3 reflective triangles, circuit breakers, and
Fire extinguisher
that's fully recharged and up to date.
Up to the date.
Ready for this?
Oh, he knows it.
Property rate.
Yeah, and properly rated. Thank you. See? Thank you. My def tank and my fuel tank. Don't call it a gas tank, please. My def tank and fuel tank. Not bent, cracked, broken. There's not supposed to screws. And my caps are on and tight, and they're not leaking. I see no shiny metal on my straps that would indicate loose or drifting tank.
See no leaks.
And I see no leaks. Yeah. All right. Now we always do the middle, back there, and there. That's what I do. My catwalk and all my steps are not bent, cracked, or broken. There's no screws, and there's nothing on my catwalk to objects on the catwalk to fall off or whatever. My tractor frame, cross members, and torsion bar, not bent, cracked, or broken. There's no supposed to screw. There's no holes or welds other than that. The drive shaft is not bent or angled. My electrical socket on my driver's side, on my tractor side, not cut, cracked, dry rotted, or bulging. I see no exposed or burnt wires. My electrical wire, not cut, cracked, dry rotted, or bulging, and I see no burnt or exposed wires. You see the same thing you said for the alternator for the wire. My air lines are not cut, cracked, dry rotted, or bulging, and I see no. I'm sorry. I hear no leaks. That's all I got. I hear no leaks. My
Glad hands.
glad hands are not been cracked or broken. It's not supposed to screw. My rubber grommet is not cut, cracked, dry rotted, or frayed, and I hear no leaks. My electrical box is not bent, cracked, or broken. It's not supposed to screw. I see no burnt or exposed wires. So face and header board. Not bent, cracked, or broken. There's no supposed to screw. See no missing rivet, and there's no holes that allow the elements to enter, damage my freight. Now, I would go here, but you can do whatever you want. What I do, my splash guard and mud flap, and that bent, cracked, or broken, there's necessary screws, and that missing. It's always suspension, brakes, tires. Am I going too fast or too slow? Am I good? Good. A spring mount, U-bolts. Now, bent, cracked, or broken, this is not supposed to screws. It's the same thing you set up front. Same exact thing. A spring leaf, or not what? Bent, cracked, or broken, this is not supposed to screws. Properly aligned. It's missing more than David. We'd have to shut down? No.
Out of service.
I was teasing. My spring leaf is not bent, cracked, or broken, missing not supposed to screws. Properly aligned. If more than a quarter of it missing, I would put the tractor out of service. Shock absorber back here, bent, cracked, or broken, not supposed to screws. Back here, you have to add one thing.
Airbag.
There you go. My airbags. Cut, cracked, dry rotted, or frayed, or bulging, and I hear no leaks.
Airbag.
My airbag mounts, upper and lower, not bent, cracked, or broken, not supposed to screws. I hear no leaks.
Yep.
You got brakes. Brakes are the same thing as they are. My brake hose is not what? Cut, cracked, dry rotted, frayed, bulging, and I hear no leaks. My brake chamber locking ring, not bent, cracked, or broken, it's not screwed. I hear no leaks. Slack adjuster, push rod, cotter pin, not bent, cracked, or broken, it's not screws. The brakes release, it should set at a 90-degree angle, and you should be able to pull it no more than 1 inch. There's no brake lining, no excessive wear, no oil and grease. Brake drum, no oil and grease, and no holes or welds other than factory. Light parts. Keep it simple. My tires, tires.
No one ever know.
My tread depth is no less than 2/32. Even tread wear. These are tandem tires, so there's no objects in between, and they're properly spaced. Side of my tires are not cut, cracked, dry rotted, or bulging, and I see and hear no leaks. A bulge. My rims, and that bent, cracked, or broken, it's not supposed to screws, and there's no holes or welds other than lug nuts and studs. All we're doing is repeating ourselves. Bent, cracked, or broken, it's not supposed to screws. I see no roughs that indicate loose or missing lug nut or stud. That's an axle seal. Now, bent, cracked, or broken, it's not supposed to screws, and I see no leaks. If it's pushed or pulled, it's a hub. If there's an axle, if the drive shaft hooked to it, an axle seal. Alright, so we did all that. So, where we're going to go next, Shady?
The coupling.
Yes, sir,
system.
we are. Perfect, Shady. So, how I do it, I do 5 parts here, 2 parts underneath. You can do it the other way if you want. It's up to you, as long as you get all 5 parts. So, my apron, that bent, cracked, or broken, is not supposed to screw. My apron sits on my
Fifth wheel.
5th wheel. Properly lubricated, and there's no space. And that sits on my Shady.
Huh?
What does your 5th wheel sit on?
Sitting upper.
Well, what?
No, sorry, platform.
Come on, Shady.
Platform.
My sliding 5th wheel locking pins.
Yeah.
They are in the lock position, and they're positioned so when you make a turn, that's not hitting that.
Yeah.
That sits on your platform.
Yeah.
That bent, cracked, or broken, there's no full screws, not missing any platform mounting bolts. My release arm and locking pin is in the lock position. There's your 5 parts. Now you go underneath.
Locking jaws.
I'm not going on there because I probably won't get out. So, my kingpin is not bent, cracked. My kingpin is not cut, not bent, cracked, or broken. My locking jaw goes around the shank, not the head of the kingpin. That's it. That's it for coupling. 5 parts there, 2 parts there.
Yeah.
While you're here, my turn signals and brake lights are not chip, cracked, or broken. They are red in color. My reverse lights are not chip, cracked, or broken. They are clear in color. While you're under there, look straight up. My platform and cross numbers are not bent, cracked, or broken. There's no full screws. Not missing any cross numbers, and there's no holes that allow the elements to enter and down into the foot. My landing gear. Bent, cracked, or broken. There's no full screws. My feet are fully raised, and there's no debris. And my crank handle is in the stowed position. As you can tell, I'm not moving very far. Everything's right there. Side of my trailer. Now, bent, cracked, or broken. There's no full screws. We're missing rivets, and there's a hole that enter and damage on freight. My DOT tape is not cut, not chipped, cracked, or peeling, and it runs the entire length of the trailer. My new marker turn signal. Not bent, cracked, or broken. There's no full screws, and it's amber in color. My ABS light. Not bent, cracked, or broken. There's no full screws. It's amber in color. My marker light. Not bent, cracked, or broken. There's no full screws. It's red in color. See what I'm saying? Keep things simple. Don't overthink it. I mean, you're saying the same thing about everything. Trailers, you're going to have different types of trailers. Some trailers are going to be, if you see airbags, that means you're going to have shock absorbers. If you see airbags, you will not have spring mounts in these springs. If you see spring mounts in these springs, you will not have airbags. All right? And the two don't intermingle either. So. All right, in this case, my spring mounts and new bolts, not bent, cracked, or broken, with enough full screws. My spring leaf is not what?
Missing
Bent, cracked, or broken, with enough full screws.
the
Properly lined.
lining.
It's normally a quarter of the leaf spring is missing. I would put the trailer out of service.
Trojan bar.
Torsion bar, not bent, cracked, or broken, with enough full screws. There should be a rod here.
Release, sliding release arm.
My sliding handle, release arm, and locking pin are right there, are in the locked position. Alright, so that's it for that. Then we do our brakes. Brake hose is not cut, cracked, dry rotted. Just kind of pointing there. Not cut, cracked, dry rotted, or afraid I hear the leak. Brake chamber, locking ring, not been cracked, broken, just nothing screws, nine. Hearing the leaks. Slack adjuster, push rod, and powder pin. Not been cracked or broken, just no supposed to screws.
So they
With
know
the brake release, it should sit at a 90-degree angle. You should be able to pull it no more than 1 inch. Alright? That goes to a brake lining. There's no such a wear. Not bent, cracked, or broken, there's no supposed to screws. The drum, there's no oil and grease, and then there's no holes or welds other than that. Tires, again. These are tandem tires, properly spaced, no debris, even tread wear, no less than 2/32. Outside tires, no cut, cracked, dry rotted, or holes in it. I've seen here no leaks. These are closed. My rims, bent, cracked, broken, there's no full screws, there's no holes or welds other than factory. No studs, same thing. Bent, cracked, broken, there's no full screws. I've seen no running rust indicate loose. Missing blood, no stud. Couple oil seal. Bent, cracked, broken, there's no full screws, and I see no seal
Leaves.
grease without indicating.
Okay.
That's it. My mud flap is not what?
Not
It's
missing.
broken, it's not full screws, and it's not missing. I always do the lights first. My ID lights, my clearance lights, my turn signal, and my brake lights are not chip, cracked, or broken. They are red in color. Then you got doors open up, my door hinges and my doors, and my head cracked or broken, my multiple screws, and the hole that allow the elements to enter and down the tray. My door handles, if you got chains on them, and the bent cracked or broken, there's multiple screws. The EOT bumper is not bent cracked or broken, there's multiple screws. EOT tape is not chip, cracked, or peeling, and run the tail length of my bumper. If I was do this side, I would do it the same way I did the other side. That screws the outside on my pre-trip, please join me inside the cab so we do the in cab. That's it.